I hadn't planned to continue this. I think maybe making this now is a reference point to what I might do in the future. And the horse agrees. I'll show you where we're at right now. So this is the old tent spots. Same as it ever was. I'll go ahead and reposition this. You're leaning on a packet of crisps, by the way. My intention was to do another channel. And leave the Revelation 101 as it was. It just seemed the appropriate thing to do. In fear of what I might do upon getting back into society. So I have been working on the first video for what's going to be on a new channel. Well, that was the intention. But it's just taken me a bit longer to put together than I was expecting, and I'm still having adjustment issues. With not being here and being around people again. So I don't know whether this will end up going on the channel, and then this will be the reinvigoration or reinitiation of just sticking to that one channel. As I said, just something that came into my head on my last night when I was doing something. And I was just asking the world, or God, however you want to put it, is like, what was all of this for? Like, what was the purpose of it, other than needing to live somewhere because of circumstances? And just this kind of voice, this thought came to me. They just said, this is to see if you can let go and be at peace with it. And I interpreted that to mean letting go of. It actually meant letting go of something much bigger than this, letting go of everything, effectively. Like, if you were to sacrifice everything, leave all of this and all of the people you knew and you loved behind, because of something much greater that's going on, and then for whatever technical reasons or scientific reasons or divine reasons, you can't necessarily just return, or you won't be reprocessed into this again. At least not the way everybody else would be, or 99% of people would be. Yeah, it was just to see if I could let go of this, but all of this, people as well, and see if I could be at peace with it, knowing that I wouldn't necessarily be coming back in some form, or the same soul but in a different body, and then the situation just cycles. Don't judge me for this. It is a spliff, what can I say? Yeah, this is one of the things like I've taken. Fuck now, it's gotten crushed. I tend to take one of my walks with me on a Saturday night, and as I did last night, go and just watch the stars. We had an amazingly clear sky last night. Watch the stars and just be at peace with the world as opposed to be at peace having let go of the world. I did tell you we'll be back in this tent spot all the time. Like, I do come here probably about once or twice a week. And such as today, I brought my fancy ass camera with me to take some pictures. It was nice when we had the full-on snow falling earlier, but it kind of stopped when I've sat down. I think it's supposed to pick up again. I hope it does. Like, I love the pristine view of this. Like, I would have loved to have woken up in the tent to see this. But again, I will say thankfully, with how cold it's been some of the days, very thankful, not thankful, but very lucky in a sense that I'm not in the tent still at this time. Because the temperature just would have been too fucking much, or too little actually. As far as brief updates on the whole court situation, probation, the woman was a bit of a cunt. I made it very clear to her that the issues with Cheshire Constabulary, not disclosing evidence, deleting evidence, so on. And she put in my probation report that I have a sense of entitlement when it comes to Cheshire Constabulary, which of course I then sent her a cordially worded message saying, hey, if you consider me not being given access to evidence and me then demanding access to that evidence that I am legally entitled to, if you deem that as being entitled with a negative connotation, I have to admit that's not speaking highly on you or how fair you consider the judicial system has to be to the people that are being churned through it. But fuck it, I mean, in the long stretch, pretty much got the easiest resolution or sentence, whatever you want, for those 4 charges was going to happen. So basically, got 12 months of 25 sessions of basically supervision. But that was it. Like, they have to hand down to you potential like psychiatric things you need to go to, or drug rehab or alcohol rehab. Come on, you know what's going to happen. But yeah, I wasn't handed any of them by the court. It was just the judge just said like 25 sessions over the span of 12 months. If you get something out of it, good. If you don't, then whatever. So yeah, I've had 2 of those sessions now. Court date is on Tuesday to allegedly deal with the Paluche getting PTSD. You know, hardened man of the force of the law, getting PTSD, and then going on to break multiple laws himself because he was so traumatized, I guess. If they try and use that as their defense, fucking hell, I'll tear through that myself. You don't even need a solicitor for that. I'll tear through that myself. Yeah, but I have to 100% say that's obviously going to get adjourned because, once again, not giving us evidence. They did, actually, when they finally found out I was no longer homeless, they did finally get around to sending a file of to my solicitor. My solicitor opened it and found out that file was completely empty. Completely empty. Just an empty file that they've sent to him. Still no disclosure. So So I have to imagine I'm going to turn up to court on Tuesday only to be told, yeah, we're going to have to adjourn it because you haven't been given access to evidence. Which, whatever at this point. It's not as if they can hold me living in a tent, or my safety, or being warm or comfortable. They can't hold that to ransom now. It's disgusting that they did that to begin with. Before I left, I was actually just seeing a thing on a police force in genuinely can't remember where. I think it begins with an N. That for like 2.5 years just didn't do anything to investigate this like massive grooming gang that was like spread over multiple towns, and like charities have had to get involved to try and hold the police accountable, and like even the people in charities are saying, yeah, the police are trying to save face. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like they wouldn't even investigate some of the leads that they had. It's just absolute standard Paluche, standard fucking Paluche. Probation, if sees this, they're gonna kick off. They're like, you drinking? Oh, yeah. I was going for a pub lunch on Friday with one of my mates. And just even saying the words pub lunch was like triggering to this woman. She's a nice gal, but triggering to this woman. It's just like, it's a pub lunch, lady. Just let it slide. It's the only thing that's in my head right now is I am still trying to readjust to being surrounded by people again. Because I'm sure I probably could have like churned out videos or finished the one that I was editing a lot sooner, a lot quicker, if I was still here with the 10, obviously. So I don't, as I say, I needed to take some time to figure out what I'm going to do. Or what I want to do. I know what I want to do. I want to keep on going with the channel, but I say the channel, more like my work, my mission. But I need to be somewhere where I can continue that. And I suppose it's not even necessarily a location to continue it in, it's the headspace to continue it in. I need to be as mentally free as I was here elsewhere. Like, full disclosure, I have actually come to this spot and recorded me just talking to myself. I think it was like the first time when I actually came back. Another set would have been the second time. Because the first time was right after the view from my tent. After I did the bit where I'll walk off at the end and just kind of leave my phone on the tree for a while and it just picks up the ambience. I came back and I knew I was going to just lay down where my tent had been, just have a little drink, have a little think and a little smoke. But when I came back I realised there's like 2.5 minutes left on my camera storage space. So yeah, I was just like, I'll just get a video for me of like my last moments, the after credit sequence, me doing what I knew I was going to do. Just sit down here, lay down here. But I thought it would fit well on the ending of the ASMR film, which I do want to do another version of that's like properly edited and more ASMR, because I actually did have to rush it to get out to go see the fireworks on that night. But again, it is supposed to be that slapped together. I don't have a PC to edit things. Done in like that pseudo manic frenzy of creation. Taking a phrase from an artist that I love, a singer, it was a scream of consciousness as opposed to a stream of consciousness. And it was exactly how it was supposed to be. Oh no, I think I was pointing out. This wasn't where I was intending to go, but this is something I was going to say. In the context of talking about the ASMR film, is I thought it ended up working well, nicely at the end, where it's like, if anybody, for the record, sees like the psychoanalytical prospects that could be done on me, but me, I was going to say the condition. I really don't want to define it as that or define myself as just that, because it is my life experience. On the whole stretch of the thing of the person who longs for nothing more than to be alone, essentially, obviously to be loved as well, but whose natural element is being alone, to do like the full psychoanalytical spectrum of that person existing in that alone place for the most part. And then going back to, I was going to say the real world, but I was going to do real in quotation marks sarcastically. I'll just say the world, the people. I think it was just good, despite how upsetting it was to lose that space. Even though I'm back in it right now, but I'm not living in it. Anybody who is wanting to know how it went at the end for that character, it was just, oh no, don't worry. The second that he finished recording, he came right back. He came right back and lied down and just stayed with nature again, as he was always going to. As I say, like, I'd still be on them walks during the night and everything. So, as in before I was homeless, and even after I've been homeless, like, did it last night, even though it was like -1 degrees. I stayed outside for like 3 hours. It's fucking freezing, but as I say, I'm willing to, as being homeless in the first place, I am willing to sacrifice so much comfort just to have the comfort of being alone. No electricity, no easy access to water, nothing to warm you up other than like blankets, clothes, maybe a fire. But for anybody out there who can potentially respect that for being what I'm trying to respect it as now, if it was like a TV show that ended on like what could potentially be viewed as a sad note, it's like right at the ending, it's like, no, it's not sad. The guy, in this case me, he came right back, and he then just did his thing where he just laid down. Like, that wasn't supposed to be seen by anybody but myself, but it just worked at the very end. I just left the camera rolling until it died. When I heard it die, I think I just sat up, grabbed it, put it in my pocket, laid right back down, and just chilled until it got dark. That's what I was always going to do. For example, that's what I've come to do here today, just because obviously we had the snow, and like, I'd never want to pass this kind of weather up. I think I'm trying to take that, not that part or fragment, take that channel that I was tuned into when I was here, when I was alone, and instead of it being kind of invaded by being surrounded by people all the time, I'm trying to allow that to overwhelm the embankments of what I'm limited to in my own head, I guess, because of other people. And I'm just trying to get it into that position where it's just like, you know what, for too long I've kind of allowed my waters to become shallow, simply for the fact that I don't want to make them deep enough that then everybody else wants to get involved. And it's, but I mean, hey, I started a fucking YouTube channel to begin with. Like, I was at that point where I'd Not that I did want people involved, but if that was the circumstance of me actually not holding back, then it was a minuscule price to pay in my eyes. I suppose it actually was a good idea that I was wanting to do another channel. Because that does show that in my mind somewhere there is just that lingering, I want to say greatness, but I don't mean that in like a self-aggrandizing way. But there is that pinnacle, that piece of me that's just that greatness that was just, it's had its taste of beyond the embankment, and now it won't let go. So if anybody else gets to see this, be pretty damn chuffed. Like, I was never expecting to do this again. But as the thought came to me when I had the, this is to see if you can let go and be at peace with it. My then internal response to that was, not even a response, but the underlying thing, that the unison of that internally was, leave your artwork be when it's finished. Leave your artwork be when it's complete. Because I know me, and while it works well for chasing up police corruption, as in I just won't let go, won't fucking let go. You won't hear the end of me until I've got justice and truth out there and knowing that my job is over. But enough of things like this, or things like with people, yeah, sometimes it's like next to impossible to let go, only for the fact that I have so few emotions that arise that are good ones. And I don't mean that I feel bad all the time. I just mean that as in a connection to something I so rarely feel, that when I know it's there, provided I still feel it, I don't know, probably chase it till I smother it. It's dedication though, that's loyalty. And yeah, I know I wouldn't want to ruin anything. I was going to say my work or my relationships by overly indulging in them once they've hit what I can recognize as a poetic conclusion, like a nice way for any time I have to tell that story to myself or just in any regard. It always has that poetic ending to it where it ends like a movie, it ends like a story should, it ends like it was always meant to be, you know what I mean? It doesn't just kind of like snap off like a twig. It speaks, and it says its entirety. It says what it needs to, and then it falls back into the shadows. But I still do have a lot more to say, or rather, I do have a lot more that needs to be done. Like I said, still chasing up Cheshire Constabulary. Still dealing with all the bullshit within the fucking Paluche system. I still have my service to God. Still need to finish the video of the science and the Bible. Parentheses, this shit'll blow your mind, whatever I'm gonna call it, no. That's just how I always reference it, like, it'll blow your fucking mind. don't think there was much else to say, only me being me. I'll happily just sit here on camera, just listening to all of this for like an hour, half an hour, however long it is till it gets dark. Oh, until the snow stops, sorry. I believe they're supposed to coincide around the same time. But I would just, if there was to be this for the record, I think I'd just rather do the job of actually filling in all the things that need to be filled in. Homeless situation, court situation, probation situation, situation with the channel. But how are you? Me? Oh, I'm alright. No, me, I've done my part as well, yeah. I'm still in that process of trying to manage the me and the me, so that they can work in tandem as they used to. I suppose it's always a journey though, isn't it, eh? I do know that I have so many other things I could say about the other videos, like things that need to be corrected and everything like that, but no point doing that now. I'd rather do some pictures. So if you want to see the view from my tent, part 2, this is what it would be like with the snow. Just to proof it as well, this is, just so you can see, this is very clearly where the tent actually used to be. That red thing here. That square never seems to collect as many leaves or snow. That's where the first tent was. And of course, if I can get this properly, the carving in the tree. And I believe that is it, friends. However, while we're here, should we have ourselves a little prayer? I usually put my head on that tree where I've carved it, but I don't want to be. I want this to try and just be as natural as it would be. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. And thank you for the tent. I love the space of the tent, this space. And God bless you as well. Amen. I did forget to say, I was actually looking at starting a charity, threefold charity. Human trafficking, police corruption, homelessness. Yeah, I looked into that like my first weekend or the day after, the first weekend back at the house. Yeah, it's just much more research needs to be done, much more complicated, as it rightfully should be. A process of starting up a charity than one might imagine. So yeah, once I've linked myself back in, once I've got my bearings straight again, I'll be taking another shot at that, and I imagine it will be the Revelation charity. Why the fuck not, right? So if you ever see or hear that, donate. You'll be saving people. You'll be fighting police corruption, and you'll be helping the homeless. So, God bless everyone. I just realized, forgotten it already now. No, I haven't forgotten it, but I was wording it a certain way. Boiled down to, there will be another channel, which you won't see any of this. I will link it on this one, because, yeah, the other one's probably going to be more noticeable. And I would prefer to keep this one our little secret. I just like knowing there's potentially the weird group, the other side, who will see this in comparison to everything else. So I'll link it when it's ready, and by all means follow it if you would be so kind. Subscribe, all that shit. You might find something useful. We'll have that Bible and the science one on. It's getting really cold. Well, except now it's so long. I think one of the things I had in my head a short while ago was because I wanted to explain something then, but then I've just flipped it. Even like watching myself back, the second that I'm done, as we all will, I immediately notice like things that would have been said or should have been said if I was operating up here energetically, as opposed to I'm trying to break through that barrier, that line of having like a camera in the face. I happen to be on show with somebody, you know what I mean, having to be exposed or vulnerable as a human being, and being able to give that honest, truthful side. So just wanted to do a quick addition to the video. I'm back from the court date now. It was adjourned, of course it was. Lack of disclosure, and my solicitor felt a bit ill. So it's now been pushed back to February, which also meant that should Cheshire Constabulary have had their way, and been allowed to prolong what they created, a war of attrition with a homeless person, I would now officially be living in a tent through New Year, through Christmas, up until February, because they can't do their legal processes. And likewise, I also saw the two officers, but I saw the officer who committed various offences against me, as you already know, so I don't need to go into it. They were walking into the courtroom for whatever reason that they had to do it at the very end. And the male Paluche, I genuinely do not remember what he looked like, but seeing him today, further to he's gotten PTSD from his interaction with me. He's shaved his head, the entirety of his fucking head,
like completely freshly shaven. And I don't know if that's him really trying to hammer in when he goes to court, and he can say like, "This is how bad I am. Like, I sit in the shower shaving and crying." Stupid Paluche. So it's still February now, folks. February now. God bless. I'm gonna go for a nap. I had to be up at the crack of fucking dawn, and I want to sleep. So, God bless. God love. All the good stuff. And have a good Christmas.
Covered up by leaves already. "3:45 a.m., 5th of December. Nearly 4 a.m. I was thinking I might walk up here. I don't know how some people can create, like, if I'm by myself, or whether if I'm at the house, I have to have like headphones in, or be completely alone and in silence, or I have to have something playing to erase the noise of whoever else might be around me. It's very rare when I can do that around other people. Even if I'm in town, or like I was at the bus station the other day, and I just kind of hit that schizoid. Those who see what videos, the schizoid plateau of I was in that moment of just being alone and in my own head, but I was surrounded by people. Yeah, I wish I was one of those people who could focus when they're around other people, but I'm not for some reason until I'm here, or places like this. A beautiful little world, as I called it when I was walking up. Because I wish you could see the depth of the lights there across the Mersey, like the embankments, like all of the lights on the water, but you can't see any of it. Trust me, it's fucking beautiful though. I broke onto a construction site. Come on. It was my place first. Back at the old tent spot. Still trying to figure things out. Cheshire Constabulary did get back to me with the review of my complaint as well, and of course, they upheld everything that the original ones had said. Because, yeah, Paluche are going to cover for corrupt Paluche. Of course, they didn't include half the things that were in the complaints. They mention the fact that CCTV can't be located, but then don't say anything else about it. They just acknowledge it can't be located, and they completely omit things such as me being handed a torn Bible. It's just never mentioned at all. Fucking Paluche. And for the record, I do just want to say that this place is really difficult to leave. A part of me has been wondering if the videos were the schizotypal trying to override the schizoid, in the sense that it doesn't want that part of me to come out or be known. Even though that is who I am, that's the most inner core of me, but that's why there's like such an armada of defense ingrained in my body and in my mind. Even though I want the schizoid part to be the part that I am every day, the schizotypal has become me for many reasons. All of those times when I could have been just sat laying in nature or in the tent, like I'm in the tent spot again now. Despite the amount of time that I did do that, the build-up of knowing that I was going to be making videos kind of superseded it all. So that lifestyle didn't overcome me completely. Like, I wonder if making the videos was kind of the last fragment that the schizotypal part had to keep itself alive. Which is a shame, because that part, I mean, I guess it should be there, because it's the defense thing, but it shouldn't be there. And I don't want it to be there, but I know the world needs it to be there, because it's difficult to be me all the time. I'll be there, if I want to put it practically, the schizoid part all the time, because people expect a lot of you. Whereas the schizotypal part is a surrendering to the theatre of a conversation, the act of a conversation, the act of life. Whereas the schizoid part, everybody depended on. And it was nurturing those two into one cohesive part that's my body, that's me. And yeah, I don't quite know what to make of that thought yet. I'm going to spark a cigarette. One other thing that I noticed the other day was words. When I used to sit outside, just think about things, all these fluent thoughts would come into my head as they were perfect. And I'd know that I wanted to talk about them. And then, like in the videos that I did, you'll have me repeating like the same phrase 2 or 3 times in one video, because it was one of those thoughts that came into my head when I was thinking about things, and then my body tries to assign it to the display, to the personality. And just continuing on from the other one, that's why it can be so stale, or appear so rigid. In part because I'm used to playing to a crowd, even if it's only one, and I can react from that, whereas when I was looking at a camera it was just me. As I've said before, I try and fill the silence with that personality and with words, and that's why it may seem stiff or rigid or like I'm not present, because I was just relying on, as I said, the things that my brain can press play on when I'm around other people, or when the presumption is that it's going to be consumed or seen by other people. One more. I'm working on shattering it, or dismantling it, whatever it may be. I do suppose that's a good thing. I was always quite the contemplative person. Cautious, but it is what it is. I can't tell you the time. Restructure.